Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, pertaining to wherever you might be located in the world. My name is Hartej. I'm a marketing specialist at Statusbrew. Today in the webinar, we're going to round up the top online marketing trends that we saw in 2018. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. All the attendees have been muted for the best experience of the webinar. And the recording for this webinar is going to be shared with all of you within this coming next week. Whenever you have any questions, please send them in. You will have the answers to all of them by the end of day tomorrow. And now we will just wait for another minute so that the attendees who might have got a little late to join us can join us, and we will jump right into the agenda for today. Hello, everyone, again. And please join us on Twitter using the hashtag BrewTalk. Whatever questions, concerns you might have, or comments that you want to make, please join us using the hashtag BrewTalk, and we will connect with you. That is my picture. I'm your host for the day, Hartej, and the agenda for the day. Today, we will be talking about the top trends we saw in the online space. And after discussing these trends, we will also touch the other popular trends that we saw in social media this year. The first trend we saw was of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Thanks to social media outreach and big data, we now know customers better than we ever did before. Artificial intelligence and its associated technology should bring marketers and customers closer in the coming years. Customers have a better understanding of product and marketers have a better understanding of consumers. With artificial intelligence optimized decision making, better forecasting sales cycles, and predictable buying and selling processes are sure shot outcomes of this robotic war. But this time, both customers and brands would be on the winning side. Artificial intelligence will be a highly lethal weapon of digital marketing that will help in building better experience for online customers. It will be win-win proposal for customers and marketers. Chatbots are no longer the robotic, clunky machines they once were. They are bots that are able to provide an instant connection with customers from all over the world, solving customer issues. And even like if you want to do simple things like ordering a pizza or something, you might be dealing with a chatbot on this time. So this year we have seen many brands are testing chatbots with various degrees of success actually. And according to Gartner, 20% of business content could be machine generated by the end of this year, 2018. If machines can't be taught to create stories that are genuine and relatable, the advertising marketing potential is certainly worth investigating. Chatbots give brands the chance to interact quickly with their audience in a way that feels personal actually. As bots become smarter and more human-like, you can customize your brand voice and send personalized messages directly to users. Facebook reported that they now see 100,000 monthly active bots on Facebook Messenger, offering a whole new platform for marketers to connect with their audience. The quickest adopters to chatbots are currently millennials. with nearly 60% having already used, like or dealt with a chatbot, and 71% of them say that they would like to try a chatbot experience, like, from a major brand actually. And for any business, targeting customers with appropriate products and services in a certain route, and that will outcome to an increased revenue. And machine learning technology can suggest what kind of content marketers should cover, providing up-to-date insights into marketing forces and consumer trends. We might not be aware of it, but we're all familiar with Google's artificial intelligence, which uses machine learning to constantly improve search results. And artificial algorithms empower sites such as Facebook, YouTube, and Netflix to match content with what they think individual users will want to see. What's more, artificial intelligence bots are now widely used for customer services and relieving pressure on call centers and reducing the cost of human telephone operators actually. And it's not only services which are making use of artificial intelligence or machine learning technology, is actually it is finding its way into everyday items, such as the camera in our phones. This technology separates the background from the foreground in photographs, making it possible for phones to create images that were only once achievable with the specialist clicking those pictures using a DSLR camera. The second trend we are going to talk about is that we saw a major growth in like social media ad spending compared to the previous years. So compared to last year, many of the digital advertising platforms showed a significant increase in expected growth, implying the digital advertising strategy by most companies are moving towards at a healthy and sustainable rate. The same report from Ad Media Partners noted that some 85% of organizations expected social ad buying and spending to have increased by more than 10% in 2018. That is up to that is up by almost 71% of the companies who felt that social media ad interactions would increase that much in last year's survey that was done. Mobile marketing has the next highest growth expectations in ad media survey, with 76% expecting at least 10% gain in 2018. However, growth projections have slowed a bit from last year. Video ad spending saw a major increase in spending, as did search advertising in relation to the previous point. Video ad spending and search ad spending are also expected to increase in 2018 this year. According to Ad Media Partners survey, 69% of respondents this year see at least a 10% increase in video advertising spending. That is a significant increase from 62% who felt that way about video in 2017. So search advertising, one of the first platforms that was used in digital advertising, seems to have had the largest surge of increase in expected growth rate of whatever was spent on it in 2018. This year, almost half, like 47% of the respondents expect search and like search ad buying and selling to increase by at least 10%, as I told you. That is a considerable increase from about 30% of companies who projected the same levels of improvement last year. So if you see at this graph that we have over here, this shows you the comparison between the internet ad spend that was from 2017 to 2018, and then it also predicts what the differences you might be seeing in the coming years. So we do see that the paid search like they spent like about $88.1 billion in the year 2017, and which was like increased to 96.3 this year. And we see that, the total display ads were on 97.2 billion, whereas it increased to $109.4 billion. So just like that, you can see the other predictions as well. The next trend that we see in the online space, in the internet space, is the introduction of the GDPR rules. And talking about like the net neutrality that actually prohibits you collecting some particular kind of data on the people who are using the internet. So net neutrality sometimes is also called the open internet, and is the idea that any and all traffic on the internet is treated equally and fairly. It gets from its source to destination as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Every website, from Netflix to your WordPress site, actually, and loads at the same time, speed and quality. It almost feels weird to define such a basic status quo principle that has governed our day-to-day browsing. So net neutrality is how the internet has operated from the beginning. In February 2015, the Federal Communications Commission, of the US, then led by Obama, appointed Tom Wheeler, and he passed regulations to legally protect the principles of net neutrality. You may have taken for granted that the internet would always be free and open, but unfortunately, times have changed. A brand whose audiences are from the US and European Union will need to consider the impact of changing regulations in their advertising operations. In 2017, the US and European Union have taken a contrasting regulatory stance, which primarily includes new agendas on user data privacy. In European Union, the General Data Protection Regulations, which took effect on May 25, 2018 this year, forever changed the way marketers collected and used data from the European Union member states. Upon its enforcement, it legalized the requirements from, that were required from all the countries, or for all the countries to notify their audience about what data is being collected on them. And they need to be offered a way of opting out if they want to. Failing to adhere to this regulation can lead to a hefty fine of up to £20 million. Or it could be 4% of the company's global annual income, whichever is larger amount, they will fine that much. So in contrast, the US has essentially granted companies access to a wealth of user data by repealing the net neutrality. In March 2017, the Senate voted to reverse the FCC privacy rules that they put in place that would have limited the ISP's ability to sell user data without consent. And for ad targeting and other purposes, as such, it is expected that many companies would reach out to ISPs to access user data that would be helpful for them to create unique and highly personalized ads for their audience, actually. Like they want to direct them towards their audience. So GDPR and net neutrality. After this, we will talk about the battle with non-human traffic. So when you have non-human traffic in your success metrics, they are unreliable, actually. And although non-human traffic typically inflates metrics, making performance look good in the short term, they actually hurt performance in the long run, if you see. And this is because feeding artificially inflated numbers into marketing mix models actually pulls down ad campaign like return on investment calculations that you do, and they're making performance appear lower. This impacts all members of the ecosystem because it can make it appear as though digital advertising is less impactful than it truly is. The bad guys get rich, everyone else gets hurt. While non-human traffic is often thought of as a buy-side issue, both media buyers and media sellers are hurt by non-human traffic. Even premium publishers can fall victim to schemes of bad actors. So it is important for parties on both sides of the table to consistently monitor the traffic on their campaigns and websites. Not all audience measurement fully removes non-human traffic when buying and selling inventory based on audiences. The expectation is that these audiences are human. However, not all audiences measurement providers remove non-human traffic from their demographic reporting, providing inaccurate data that leads sellers to misinterpret their inventory and buyers to waste money on their campaigns. Not all viewability measurement fully removes non-human traffic. While the monthly recurring cost requires vendors to count non-human traffic as a non-viewable measurement providers often remove non-human traffic to varying degrees, and accurate viewability measurement requires a strong validation solution that filters advanced non-human traffic to report the numbers of ads viewable to humans. Unduplicated measurement is the ideal. Rather than calculating performance metrics in silos, you need to make sure your delivered ads are viewable to a human in the right audience. And in order for advertising to have an impact, to understand all these elements of delivery for a single impression, you need to truly to go with like unduplicated measurements. The next trend we are going to talk about is the live features, how they soared in the social media, in the social place. So it's actually the prime time for live streaming. And if you miss the boat at this time, you could be missing out on a huge traffic, that you could direct towards your pages, and you could also lose the ability to create a viral buzz. It's one of the most genuine ways to connect with your audience or with an audience, and and it also allows you like levels of personalization that the marketing industry has never seen. So don't fall behind the curve. Don't get stuck in old ways of doing business. One of the main reasons you should care about live stream is simply due to its huge user base and its growing popularity. The potential to reach thousands of new customers with the click of a button is becoming a reality. When tactics like search engine optimization and content marketing are taking up too much time and money, you need a new outlet to drive traffic to your pages. And using live stream platforms is a nearly free way to drive tons of revenue for your business by directing all that extra traffic to your pages. And when it comes down to it, the video live streaming market is growing at an alarming rate. In 2016, it was already like a more than $30 billion industry, and it's getting started. It's just getting started. It's it's projected to more than double in growth by 2021 to become more than $70 billion industry. And live streaming is on the rise, and it continues to grow every single day. To understand why live streaming can be huge for your business, you need to know why people are watching it. You need to understand why people are turning in at alarming rates to live streaming content. And the truth is, people are watching live stream content for the same reason they love TV. It helps them to stay informed on the latest news and events. It helps them get actively connected to companies, and it helps them get excited about your fresh content. With typical TV subscriptions on a decline, actually, it only makes sense that live streaming is the new way to consume content. It's the next logical step beyond the static video that we already consume in mass amounts on a daily basis. And it surpasses television and static video because of its diverse platforms, the ability to multitask, and and the excitement that is generated from live content. And whatever venues that you see, either it's Facebook, Instagram, they've gone pretty big with the live features that they offer. So these should definitely not be missed. The next trend we are going to look into is that how Instagram soared this year. So this was, as we're going to talk about it, this was an year of Instagram. So we're closing in on the end of the year, but Instagram isn't ready to slow down yet. And since we're in the middle of the holidays marketing season, we hope that you aren't slowing down either. This month, Instagram has released some great new features that give businesses new ways to connect with their customers and give their customers a new ways. Give their customers new ways to interact with the content marketers are creating for them. While Snapchat's daily user count grew just 2.13% in quarter one to 191 million, and Facebook's users count grew 3.14% to reach 2.196 billion. Instagram grew close to 5% per quarter. In a blog post they released this week, Instagram announced that they're cracking down on inauthentic activity on its platform. If you've purchased likes, comments, or followers, you'll likely see those disappearing quickly as they've learned how to break this pattern and how to better track down fake accounts and delete them immediately. Marketers already have the ability to create shoppable posts, or like now they can also create shoppable stories, and this isn't changing. But Instagram users are getting some great news about new ways to interact with these posts. The most notable of these changes is the ability to save products to their shopping collection. When users tap on a product, tag in their stories or their feed posts, they see the option to save the product and not just the post. Users can now essentially create a virtual wish list that lives on Instagram and takes them right to your product and when they're ready to purchase. Their new name tags feature allows users to create personalized name tags that can be scanned by other users within the Instagram app. When someone scans your individual name tag, they'll be shown a prompt to follow you. The goal here is to make it easier for users to connect and reduce the need to go through long searches. Name tags can be big asset to brands looking to grow their followings on Instagram, and which actually is almost all of them. And especially since your name tag does not have to like live only within your Instagram app. I tested like the theory myself. You can take a screenshot of it and post it on your site, on your social media, in your email, use it in your email marketing campaigns that you do, and whatever is written with the goal of increasing followers. and even in printouts in store. So share them everywhere that you can. And if you have a brick or a mortar store, please place them somewhere users are most likely to see them. Like such as by the checkout. So Instagram is already one of the key players in social media marketing platforms, and we're about to see that become truer than ever with Facebook pages tanking. They're going to take them off. And while I'm glad the ad systems are joining, or they have joined, and which give like Instagram gives much more power for their advertisements that they do. I'm so glad that their algorithms are not identical. So by this I mean by their that I mean that Facebook's and Instagram's algorithms that they use are not similar. So that's good. And now new features are also rolling out. So it's clear that Instagram is a marketer, and business friendly application that can be made use of, and which also makes it more valuable. So we can see that the monthly users of Instagram, how they have grown. It was launched in 2010, and then slowly you can see how the numbers have been increasing every year. And in June of this year, the number reached 1 billion. The next trend we are going to talk about is Facebook's algorithms and how they have changed in pertaining to compared to older times. So the Facebook algorithm is constantly evolving, actually, in order to produce a better experience for users. But few changes to algorithm have sparked as much interest and conversations as the recent meaningful interactions update, in which Facebook said that it would be prioritizing posts that create meaningful conversations, and especially those from family and friends. The reaction to this update was one of curiosity and worry from brands, publishers, and Facebook page managers, wondering whether or not their organic reach would once again take a hit, causing them to reach an even smaller percentage of their audience on Facebook. When a user visits Facebook, there are thousands of potential posts that might be displayed in their newsfeed. The sophisticated algorithm that they make use of takes these posts and arranges them according to how likely the user would be, be interacting with them, or whatever content the user comes in contact with. So that's basic story. At least in the recent Facebook news feed webinar, their team broke the algorithm down into 4 very simple components. The first being inventory. So whatever the inventory stands for, whatever content they have available that they can show to their user. The second one is signals, which takes which takes into account the considerations about the content, looking at again that what seems to be more enjoyable by the user that will be shown, or that has a more that seems that according to the algorithm that the user will have build a more a stronger connection with. They present that content above. The third one is predictions. So the predictions are considerations about the person that, again, they would see that what the person would like. They want to present that first. And then the fourth one is overall score. So these 4 key algorithm factors serve the sole purpose of providing Facebook users with a better overall experience. One reason why Facebook will be prioritizing posts from family and friends over the public content from pages is that they really believe a person-to-person connection is more valuable than person-to-page connection. And in other words, content from friends and family tends to spark more active engagement from users. When considering the types of content that Facebook will favor in the newsfeed moving active, when considering the types of content that Facebook will favor in newsfeed moving forward, it's important to distinguish between active and passive interactions. Active interactions such as sharing, commenting, and reacting would hold much more weight than passive interactions such as clicking, viewing, or hovering above a particular thing. The eighth trend that we are going to talk about is the rise in the use of vertical video on social media. So just a few years ago, vertical video was almost considered a taboo. Now the video status is vertical to win. Smartphone users hold their phones vertically about 94% of the time. Let's face it, turning our phones from side to side is kind of a pain, which we would like to admit. So thanks to Snapchat, vertical video has adapted some solid grounds of staying power. Next came Instagram stories, then Facebook stories, and now latest mostly horizontal with smartphones flying out of pockets everywhere. Vertical content is captured nearly every second of the day, changing the entire landscape of how world events are reported on and consumed. Whether it's the 2018 Olympics, the World Cup, or even natural disasters, like we've seen storms and fires, etc., wildfires, or you can discover breaking news content faster from powerful platforms like Snapchat that that you will ever be able to, again, by the way of reporters or news trucks that you follow. We are currently witnessing the democratization and disruption of the way news breaks and is consumed in real time. As we see continued innovation across the major platforms and encouraging like video creation and to be vertical, and the consumption of it, and brands across categories as well as media networks will continue to invest in ways to capitalize with solid content and precise delivery. New interactive features will continue to change the way we tell stories, opening up opportunities to engage with viewers all around the world. Horizontal video will continue as a format, of course. TV, movies, and the longer live streams are well widescreen, but we'll continue to see more investment than ever in vertical video, simply because of the ergonomics of how we hold our phones. Recent player to join vertical movement is YouTube, which is which is a progress and an indication for the acceptance of vertical video. Bottom line is that if you want to stand out in the feed, go vertical. The ninth trend that we are going to talk about is of the mobile ready content. So consumers are spending a whole lot of time using social media on their mobile devices. This means brands are nowadays more focused on creating content for small screen. Create simple, scalable, and scannable mobile-friendly content for your audience. With smart devices becoming more accessible and the world getting busier by the day, clearly acceptable that mobile ready content will be like not just a recommendation in the coming time, but a priority for marketers. Social media and marketing for mobile is most potent cocktail of digital marketing for our times. According to a study done by digitaltrends.com, It's expected that by 2020, there will be close to 6.2 billion smartphones in the world. And the number of users of social media platforms like hardly require any restatement, as you already know, like, you know, numbers have grown to be billions and they're still increasing. So when you think of it, there's hardly a digital marketing medium that's not directly or indirectly linked to either of these platforms. It's a natural outcome of all of these forces that demand for mobile-friendly content on social media platforms, and it is breaking new records every month. Marketing by real people appeals more to Generation Z compared to using celebrities. Apart from like their smartphones and other mobile devices, they are also interested in social media, latest tech updates, and augmented reality. Accompanying this is the increased adoption of operating systems powering mobile devices like Android by Google and iOS by Apple. And the ease with which marketers can share their content with the users of these devices and push for in-app purchases. 80% of the users now own a smartphone. An average of 69% users spend their media, an average of 69% users spend their media time on smartphones, according to ComScore. And this number will continue rising. So time spent on smartphones will continue rising compared to the previous years. For marketing this year, content including advertisements has been, mobile friendly. You should test ads on different mobile devices and jump on mobile advertising as well, especially video ads. For continued interaction with people you meet using social media, say via email. Remember, in 2018, the number of users who access their emails exclusively from mobile devices stands out at 8 out of 10. Also, do remember of taking advantage of accelerated mobile pages. So your website content renders almost instantly, like to your visitors who are visiting or opening your web page. This would mean like having fast loading pages. Speed will help increase your e-commerce conversion rates. Like if you see, Amazon found that 0.1% increase, like taking more time in page load time, resulted in 1% decrease in sales for them, which was a $1.3 billion a year impact on sales. And for Walmart, similarly, if you see that for Walmart, 1 second decrease, taking lesser time in page load resulted in 2% increase conversions, impacting $274 million in sales a year. So optimize everything for mobile, either it's like smart as in fast loading pages, or your website page how it's displayed on a phone. You have to optimize, you should optimize all that. So just with this, we will now talk about the other online trends that we see. That video is still on rise, so comparatively to the previous years, like either it's a video spending, because people think that when they either they have to read something, it's easier consumed in the form of a video. They get to take a lot of information in, and they don't have to read something. So video is still on rise, and the investment in it, if you compare it to the previous years, has increased much more and is predicted to keep growing for the coming years. So the second is influencer marketing is gaining even more traction. So you can see, like, if an influencer is used in your marketing, people are seeing good return from that. Facebook is moving away from pages, shifting towards the groups options. And similarly, you see then one more trend is that LinkedIn groups are getting big as well. Then is organic reach is dead and the long live paid search. So like previously how you used to see that, you used to get more organic hits or like the traffic out of your marketing efforts, whatever you did online. But now they try that if you pay for it, then it'll be more visible, then you'll get more returns from the investment that you have done, and the organic reach has been decreased I mean, compared to the previous times. And Facebook will show you more local info, less memes. So that is like, all the either it's the local businesses or like local people, but then they'll show you more of that, so that like even if a business is advertising, that's visible to you, and then you can build connection with them and buy from them. Next one is Twitter finally started caring about spam, and it's said to that it will make a comeback in the fourth quarter of this year, so, and by the end of this year. So the policies that came into effect after the GDPR that came into effect on the 25th of May this year, Twitter also changed its policies, and then they're fighting with all this spam or non-human traffic. So that even if things like if people had bought likes for their pages or something, so they will see all of them being disappeared. Social chatbots are an everyday thing. As I've talked before, so the chatbots are not like, if you compare them to old times, how they were seen to be like, inefficient, and the results that we got from them were not satisfactory. But now, like the chatbots, the new technology that they are using is much better than before. And people, like, if they're using chatbots, they get to go back, get back to their customer as soon as possible. The last one is Instagram won the story war. So after Snapchat, like had its the Snapchat stories, Instagram launched its stories as well, and which last similarly just for 24 hours, and then they get eradicated. And just like that, but Instagram had so many like users on it, or its base was so big, so it's actually come to be like more prevalent, and more users are using Instagram's story option. And after Instagram, Facebook also came up with the stories options. So these were some of the trends that we did see were like coming up this year, that actually gained traction, or like popularity this year. Hopefully, this all information has been useful for you and educational for you. Again, I would like to say, if you have any questions, please send them and we will send you the answers to all of them by tomorrow. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care.